Well, hey, howdy, hello. Happy Friday. It's a little past 11:11, but better late than never, I like to say. I'm here to do a little body check-in, a little stretching and strengthening, keep myself accountable to myself, and I invite you to join me as usual if you feel like it, to whatever degree you feel like it, whatever feels right in your body. I'm just going to take some minutes to bring my awareness into my body, give myself a little loving attention, a little deep breathing, a little letting go of stress, a little resetting. So, yeah, you can join me if you feel like it. I'm going to take just the first couple of breaths to bring my awareness into the bottoms of my feet. Shake out the shoulders a little bit, shake out the hands a little bit. Root myself into the center of the earth. Hang myself from the center of the sky. Check that alignment. Ears over shoulders. Shoulders over hips. Hips over ankles. Maybe I'll scoot back so you can see that. I'm not sure if that works or not. Let's start with just some free arm hanging twisting, because that's what feels good to me today. Just loosen the spine up a little bit to go one side then the other, just letting the arms flop around, loosening up, letting go. Don't forget to breathe. And then I'm going to roll down after I get my hair unstuck. Let's actually, before rolling down, do a couple shoulder shrugs. Shoulders up into the ears, and then and again tensing, breathing in, and then just blowing that off. One more time, tensing up, and then do some shoulder rolls, backwards, forward and back. Breathing in and breathing out. It's hard to say and do at the same time. And the other way, breathing in, breathing out. Shaking that out. Now let's go ahead and roll down nice and slow. Checking in with the spine, starting with the neck. Coming through the upper back, through the mid-back, through the lower back. Past the waist, all the way to the hips, aiming the arms for the ground, relaxing through the belly, through the back, and just shaking that out down here, just letting gravity do some more unwinding. Fold the arms to add a little weight to that. I come over to the left for a little gentle stretching, pulling with the hands. And over to the right, again, just pulling with the hands. And then roll back up, making sure not to lock those knees. Just still checking in with the spine today. Stacking one vertebra on the next. Do some big arm circles now. Just still breathing in and breathing out. In on the up and exhaling on the down. Big circles. Let's go the other way. Trying to make that movement a little bit smoother if possible. Nice and slow. Shake that out. And now let's check in with the spine again. Rolling down, smooth and slow. Just noticing if there's any difference in the spine and in the movement from one time to the next. Aiming the hands toward the floor. Coming all the way down past the waist to the hips. And hanging here again. Shake it out a little bit gently. Nice sigh. Let's go again over to the left with a little gentle twist. Using the arms to pull on the leg or the foot, and over to the on to the next, just noticing the differences in the spine, in the breathing, in the movement. I'm going to shake that out a little bit. Let's add some little circles just to keep the brain guessing what's coming next. Getting the fingers involved, circling around the wrists. Go the other way. Shake that out a little bit. I'm going to bring my weight over to the right. Lift that left knee up toward the left shoulder. Using my hands to help guide that. And just checking in with the supporting side. Trying to stay nice and long and strong. Just noticing if the body's wanting to lean to either direction. Bringing that knee up a little bit higher. Tipping the pelvis under. To add some ankle rotations here. Littler circles in one direction and then the other direction. Nice and long and strong through the abdomen and spine. Trying to work from the core, making sure those shoulders are relaxed. Bringing that knee up even a little closer to the body. You could do this laying down if you're not comfortable standing up, or near a wall or doorway if you want the psychological effects of feeling supported. I'm going to bring that leg out for a forward fold up in the air. Still trying to check in with the pelvis so that I'm tucking under a little bit. Trying to stay nice and long and strong through the abdomen and the spine, working together. And release with that right hand. Bring that left foot and arm out to the side. And then just try to relax that. You can see how I'm leaning against that and trying to bring the body back up to upright instead of leaning, counter leaning. Bring that out a little more to the side. Just noticing how the body's doing today. Checking in with it. Move that around a little bit from front to the side and see how that kind of changes how the body wants to counter lean. And bring this foot on in close to the groin on the supporting leg. Relax that supporting foot because I felt it getting all tense. Relax these shoulders. I'm going to try to focus in on the midline a little bit. Just playing with body awareness. Bringing this knee out to the side if possible. Again, checking in with that supporting foot to relax it. Relaxing that supporting knee. Imagining myself a mountain or a tree. In the breeze, apparently. I like the breeze. They call me the breeze. Oh, sorry. I just had a moment of breaking out into song. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I'm going to bring my weight and awareness over to the left foot now, relaxing that foot, bringing the right knee up toward the right shoulder. Again, taking a breath or two to align the abdomen and the spine. Let's add some ankle rotations here, little circles. Remembering to breathe and smile still, because that's important, whatever else you're doing. It's easy to find yourself holding your breath when you're focusing on something, I've noticed. So it's a good idea to regularly check in with the breath. Bringing that knee up a little bit higher and reaching for the bottom of that foot. I'm going to bring that foot out front for a nice forward fold over that leg in the air. Again, you could do this laying down. If you're laying down, try to press that low back to the ground. That's going to tip the pelvis under a little. And if you're standing up, see if you can just notice if you're counter leaning or if you can bring yourself more upright as you bring that stretch just into this leg while you're relaxing. I'm going to relax that supporting foot again because my toes tend to clench up. I'm going to bring that out to the side a little bit. Still just noticing how the body's doing. I'm counter leaning. Bringing that out further to the side. And then bringing that a little more to the front. And just just noticing how the body's doing, how the two sides are different. I do this most days, so I notice how it's different day to day. That helps me just be more alive in my own body, which I think is important. Everything you do is done with your body, is it not? Bring this in close to the groin and set it on that supporting leg, winging this knee out, and again just focusing on the center, on the midline, bringing my awareness in, see if you can kind of imagine your center line down your front. You could touch it if you want, that helps, down the front and maybe down the back, and then see where's the center, where is the center of your midline. See how that made me pretty wobbly. I'm not completely aware where my center is. I find when I can bring my awareness into the center and move from that center, I tend to be a lot more efficient and effective, grounded. Again, I'm going to bring my awareness and check in on that supporting foot. Relax the toes, relax the foot. Make sure that supporting leg isn't locked up. It's kind of hard to stand up like this if that supporting leg is locked up. And if you have to have a moment of unbalance, that's totally fine. Reminding me and you, I'm going to take just a breath or two though to try to imagine myself a strong mountain or tree in the breeze. Check in with those shoulders. Make sure they're relaxed. That you're still breathing and smiling. Set that down and just release those feet a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do some lunging, stepping back with the left foot first to a nice medium lunge, pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back. Checking that I'm not crunching past the toes with that front knee and pressing that back heel back toward the ground. Tipping the pelvis under, again trying to stay nice and long and strong, moving from the core, keeping the spine and abdomen moving together. Checking that those shoulders are not crunching up. Let's bring the arms up overhead and come onto the diagonal line, pushing out that heel, out the fingertips, through the spine, just feeling for that diagonal line. Again, just playing with awareness of the body. Try to check in again, like where's the center line and where's the core of that center line, and moving from there. Come back up, pushing, tilting the pelvis, and then I'm going to shift that back heel onto the perpendicular line, opening the hips, looking for that side plane. Checking in with my airplane hands to see how my alignment's doing today. Make some little micro adjustments to feel like I got a nice steady position here. I'm going to bend now from the hip into that side plane, sliding that back heel out if necessary, coming down into a side triangle and using my right hand against my right leg for torque and stability, making sure not to collapse down into that hand. Then bringing the left hand up to gaze past those fingertips into an airplane pose, as I like to call it these days. Let's bring that hand down onto the diagonal, pushing that back heel out a little bit more. Just feeling how the body is in that diagonal line. Bringing this hand down on the inside of that front leg for a deeper lunge. And then I'm going to bring this front leg back to meet the back leg, trying to move so you can see me. Palms are supportive, fingers are wide, and pressing through the arms, through the spine, tilting the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing the heels toward the floor. Let's bend the right knee and press into the left. And then bend the right knee and press into the right, bend the left knee, is what I meant. And bending on the right, pressing into the left. Just noticing how the hips tip when we do that. Pressing into the right. One more time, pressing into the left, pressing that heel toward the floor, pressing into the right. And now with both palms pressing into both heels, again tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing the heart toward the center of the earth. And then I'm going to swing forward slowly, trying to make that smooth and controlled, bringing the legs together and pulling the chest and eyes upward, making sure not to collapse in those shoulders. And just let the belly drop and relax. Stretching through the low back a little bit. And then lifting those hips again, pressing back into that downward facing dog or tent or upside down triangle position. End up a little bit wider usually after I do that, so it's a little bit different stretch, but still pressing the heart toward the center of the earth, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. And then I'm going to swing this left foot up in between the hands for a nice deep lunge on that side. I like to bounce. Bounce if you like to bounce. Don't bounce if it doesn't feel right to you. And then I'm going to step forward with that back foot. Back into forward fold. Hang here for a breath or so. I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back. Coming up into a little bit of a counter stretch, pushing the hips forward. Bending the back, arcing the back a little bit. Still bringing the eyes up. And come back into center. Shake that out a little bit. And let's step back with the right foot into a medium lunge. Again, pulling the back hip forward, forward hip back, looking for a perpendicular line with the hips and a parallel lines with the feet. Pressing into that back heel, making sure not to crunch past the toes with the front knee. Tipping the pelvis under a little bit. And again, checking for that midline up the back and the front, seeing where do those meet in the center of the body. Relaxing the shoulders, bringing the arms up overhead. I'm going to press through the heel onto the diagonal line, bending the torso forward a little bit to try to match that diagonal line. Just feeling how the body feels different on the two sides, how it feels different day to day. And enjoying that diagonal line sensation, which I like so much. And then I'm going to bring that back upright, tipping the pelvis. Still trying to move from the core, abdomen and spine moving together. Then I'm going to shift that back heel onto the perpendicular line, opening the hips. And looking for that plane to the side. Gazing out past both sets of fingertips to kind of just notice how the body's alignment matches and or doesn't match my awareness of it. It's kind of fun to do things sometimes with your eyes closed. Imagine where your body is in space and then look with your eyes or look in the mirror and the camera and see if you are where you think you are. I find sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. Now I'm going to bend from the hip, sliding this back heel out a little bit into a side triangle, bringing this left arm down and using that for torque against my left leg, and bringing the right fingertips up to gaze past those fingertips. In an airplane pose. You can make an airplane noise if it suits you. I don't know, I think my neighbor's droning, whatever that is enough noise for me at the moment. It's like a little tiny airplane. Sliding that heel out a little bit more, I'm going to bring this arm down onto the diagonal line, still just feeling how the body is, checking in with everybody, noticing how the two sides vary. And then I'm going to bring this hand down on the inside of this leg for a nice deeper lunge. You can rotate that back leg onto the toe. I'm pressing with the palms, bringing that front leg back to meet the back leg. Palms are nice and supportive, fingers are wide. Pressing through the arms, through the spine, tilting the tailbone, and pressing the heels down toward the earth. Pressing the heart toward the earth. Still remembering to breathe and smile. Let's do a little hip opening from here. So I'm going to bring my weight onto the right foot, and I'm going to bring that left foot straight up, still trying to keep the hips perpendicular to the floor at first, raising that up, and then I'm going to open that hip, so no longer perpendicular to the floor. I'm going to let this leg kind of fold back and look past my right shoulder. For a toe check, hey toes, I like to try to do a little ankle rotation there because it is tricky and difficult, which is always just entertaining to me that my brain has a really hard time rotating that foot when I'm looking at it on that diagonal angle. Try it, see how you do. And let me know, I'm curious, does that happen to you or is it just me? Anyway, I'm going to bring the pelvis back to perpendicular now, pressing through the palms, through the arms, and through that leg, lifting out the toes, and bring that in. Bring the knee toward the chin, and then set that down. Pressing again through both palms. And now bringing the weight onto the left, bringing the right foot straight up, still trying to keep those hips perpendicular at first. Pressing and then opening that hip, letting the foot fall to the left. Looking for confirmation over here. See if I can rotate that. It's a little easier on this side today, at least this direction, although that direction is like if I really look at it, I have a hard time doing it. Now I'm going to close that hip again, still just pressing up with that leg. Trying to pull down with that hip and pressing through the palms, pressing through the supporting leg, out those toes, and then bring this knee in toward chin and set that back down. Let's swing forward a little bit, nice and slow. Bringing the legs together, lifting in the chest, lifting the eyes, making sure not to sink in the shoulders. Pulling the buttocks and the legs together and then relaxing the belly. And then lifting those hips, pressing back through the palms. I'm going to swing that right foot forward in between the hands. I like to do a little bounce in that deep lunge. Again, you do what feels good to you. And I'm going to step forward with that back foot back into forward fold. Shake that out a little bit. I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back, and come again into that counter stretch. Just a slight back bend, pressing the hips forward, and then coming back to neutral. Shake that out a little bit. I'm going to bring hands behind back, clasping hands, and then rolling shoulder blades towards each other, rolling elbows towards each other, and with a flat back this time, making sure knees are not locked. Forward folding from the hips again. Just bringing the hands width for a nice stretch through the chest, through the shoulders. Trying to relax all the way, relax the belly, come all the way down into the hips. Let's do a little twisting to the left, gazing up past the right shoulder. And then a little twisting to the right, gazing up past the left shoulder. Still pulling those shoulder blades together, elbows together. I'm going to release that, let the elbows fall away. I'm going to come down the legs kind of fast today, just checking in with the backs of the legs. Say hello to the toes, check in with the fronts of the legs. I'm going to come part way up till I'm rounding the spine, coming up from the waist, and now pulling up in the waist, pulling up in the pelvic floor. I'm giving myself a nice hug. Left elbow over right, trying to pull those shoulder blades away from each other. Give you a nice rub on the shoulders if you feel so inclined, and tucking the chin, rolling the spine, rounding the spine, just checking in with everybody. And then releasing all that again toward the floor from the hips. letting gravity do some unwinding. Shake that out a little bit before I'm going to do that again this time. Right elbow over left, pulling up in the pelvic floor, back in the abdomen, and using the hands to really help pull those shoulder blades apart. Try to give a nice little mini massage of the shoulders. Tucking the chin, rounding the spine. And one more time down toward the floor. Just releasing all that. Let's roll up nice and slow again. Just checking in with the spine, stacking one vertebra on the next. Noticing if that's different from a little bit earlier when we started. And shake that out again. I like to do some clap snaps. Check in with the hands. Doing all right. I got a lot to get to today, so after a little hip sway in, I'm gonna say thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you, Ed. Great. Make sure you're taking care of you, because you are the only thing you can't live without, as far as you know. As far as I know, anyway. You can let me know if you disagree. I wish you a fabulous, a fantastic Friday. Remember that you are worthy of your own unconditional love, first, foremost, always and always. I hope you're giving yourself that. Ciao for now.